Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another post-game show of the Winnipeg Jets. Game Over Winnipeg's post-game show here of tonight's game between the Winnipeg Jets and the Vegas Golden Knights that ended 4-3 in Vegas's favor, unfortunately. My name is Ty Dilello, and I'm the host here at Game Over Winnipeg. And yeah, as I said, it was another tough loss tonight from the Jets. Playing against a very good team in Vegas. It was a much better Jets performance tonight than 2 nights ago in Los Angeles. So there are some positives to take from that. Kind of another game of missed opportunities, I shall say. Cole Perfetti got the game scoring with his 5th goal of the year. It was well overdue. He's a player that we kind of called out on the show last game. So he got his 5th of the year. Brett Howden of Vegas, an Oak Bank, Manitoba native, scored. We'll talk about that play. He made it 1-1. Ivan Barbashev scored at the end of the period to make it 2-1 for Vegas. In the second period, Cole Perfetti got his 2nd goal of the game to make it 2-2. Vegas once again went up 3-2. Barbashev with his 2nd of the night. And then the Jets got a 3rd period goal to tie it from Neil Pionk. But then Brett Howden, got the final dagger to put Vegas up 4-3. The Jets pushed in the last couple minutes, but weren't able to get the equalizer. And that's all she wrote. The Jets fall to 18-6 on the year. They've lost 3 of the 5 road games on this road trip. They have one more Sunday afternoon against Dallas. Eric Comrie made 26 saves tonight, while Aiden Hill stopped 22 shots from the other side. So, not the Jets' greatest performance tonight, but there's still some positives to take away from the game. It definitely wasn't their worst game of this last stretch. Let's hit an ad read before we kind of dive into the game. Hyperdrive Hockey. Please check out the flagship show of the Game Over Network on the Game Over Network channel. Hyperdrive Hockey, all things hockey across various leagues in multiple countries. Whatever it is and wherever it is, Max, Daphne, and Kev have you covered for all of your hockey news with a steady dose of fun and fan engagement. You can find Hyperdrive Hockey on the Game Over Network YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts on the Hyperdrive Hockey page, or at thegameovernetwork.com. I believe they just dropped an episode earlier today. Go check it out. I think it's heavily focused on the PWHL, Professional Women's Hockey League. All 6 teams announced their rosters today, I believe, and I think the season's going to get underway shortly. I think there's a healthy amount of Manitobans in the league, which is nice. Obviously, I think the one that I know the most, because I've interviewed her a bunch, is the New York Sirens goaltender, Corinne Schroeder. She hails from Elm Creek, Manitoba, one of Canada's best young goaltenders who will be in the mix to play for Team Canada in the Olympics in 2026. Check out Hyperdrive Hockey. It's kind of our most watched, our most viewed kind of podcast show. And it's great. I see nobody's watching currently, as per usual. If you're out there, please chime in the chat what you thought about the game tonight. It was kind of the first period, kind of felt eerily similar to the start of the LA game, the start of a couple of the games on this road trip where we're just getting outshot and outchanced, drastically. I think the shots in the first period at one point were 18-5 for Vegas. Obviously, that Cole Perfetti goal was big to go up 1-0. As the Jets were kind of able to hang in there. And then just a really bad. I hated both of Vegas's goals in the first period. That Brett Howden scored. It was off a bad turnover. It was kind of a Jet player was on the side of the boards in the offensive zone, blindly threw it back to the defenseman, not realizing there was a Vegas player kind of between him and the defenseman. So that was Brett Howden, picked up the puck, blew past Logan Stanley because Logan Stanley is slow, and kind of went in on a breakaway from right to left and tucked it in short side. That was a big dagger. That was a brutal pass. Unfortunately, that was Morgan Barron who made that blind pass. I don't want to give too much shade to the fourth line, but that was terrible. Then the goal at the end of the period, just kind of all the most of Vegas's goals tonight were kind of just off of like kind of chaos in front of the net and whatnot. Just like the Jets couldn't get a puck on it, couldn't get it out, and Barbashev scored with 15 seconds left in the period. That was kind of a deflator. If the first goal Vegas scored wasn't, that was certainly a deflator. That made it a 2-1 Vegas, and then from there the Jets were kind of chasing all night. And yes, they were able to tie it on 2 occasions, which was great. They just couldn't contain, Vegas's offense, tonight. And, the Jets made some changes up on their defense tonight. Instead of Ville Heinola and Colin Miller as the third pairing, they switched both of them out for Logan Stanley and Dylan Coughlin, who made his Jets debut after being in the press box for the first 23 games of the season. So I didn't love that. I didn't love Logan Stanley's game. I thought Dylan Coughlin actually had a decent game. I think he was on the ice for... I'll check if he was... I'll see what he was, but I thought Coughlin's game was okay. It seemed like the coach, Scott O'Neill, had a little bit of faith. Had some faith in Coughlin, as Coughlin was kind of out with the goal he pulled and on the power play towards the end of the game. I don't know what that was maybe all about. Coughlin a -1, played 14 minutes. Two shots, 1 hit. Didn't hate his game. Hayden Fleury had an assist. He's playing that elevated top 4 role, which I'm not loving, necessarily, but the Jets have some injury problems. Nikolai Ehlers was injured tonight and did not return, which is kind of a... I haven't heard the post game at all from the Jets. I don't know if he's going to be out for any period of time yet, but I'll talk more about that and potential replacements in the next segment here. If Nick Ehlers goes down, it's certainly a big injury. Tonight's game, it was definitely a step in the right direction from Wednesday night's game against Los Angeles. On Wednesday night, the Jets were totally unable to kind of penetrate LA's weren't able to penetrate their 1-2-2, just their defensive system. We were limited, I think, to 14 shots against LA on a night when David Riddick was in net. And that's kind of a game where you want to kind of pepper the goalie, and the Jets weren't able to do that. LA played a really good shutdown game. Vegas, it was a little more open, I felt. I don't think Vegas, they would tell you that it wasn't their best defensive game. They were able, the Jets had chances kind of all night. Just weren't able to capitalize, just weren't able to make that last pass and shot and whatnot. So, one sec. Sorry about that. You have to kind of... Sorry, I'm just kind of... I have so many thoughts kind of going in my head. At the same time, you just got to take kind of account... we're playing... we're playing these, top playoff teams on this road trip, and really throughout the last month. The Jets are, kind of playing 500 hockey throughout this, while playing these, other contenders and stuff, which is totally expected. There's no one... no one was coming in and saying that the Jets were going to kind of run the table and just, knock off all these teams in a row. And it's like, we are going to lose games. This was a night when Eric Comrie was in net against Vegas, who's arguably like, a top 3-5 team in the NHL. And, we could have won this game for sure. And the Jets aren't playing their best hockey right now. We know that. We know Mark Scheifele is playing injured. We know we have some defensive, that Dylan Sandberg injury. And it's just, there's a lot of things kind of going against the Jets right now, and they were able to put up a decent game tonight. I believe I'm just seeing on Twitter or BlueSky, Scott Arniel just said Nikolai Ehlers is day-to-day with a lower body injury. So, yeah, take that with what you will. We'll talk about Ehlers on the next segment. So let's get to that segment. We'll do another ad read here, and then we'll kind of get going on that. Anyone in the chat? If anyone's watching, feel free to say something. LaRouche. So Game Over Network is an independent production focused on community, inclusion, and quality people. If you're interested in supporting the Game Over Network, we have crowdfunding options available. In the description of this episode, you'll find a link to our Patreon page. And we're also working on a page through LaRouche, which is a crowdfunding platform for companies originating in Quebec. For LaRouche, we're aiming to raise $15,000, and if we hit that goal, we'll gain access to government grants that will allow us to employ more people. So if you have any ideas for what you'd like to see as giveaways from these crowdfunding efforts, please let us know in the comments on Twitter, Instagram, our Discord server, or the brand new BlueSky app. BlueSky is kind of like the new Twitter, just an easier... It's kind of like Twitter without all the politics stuff and porn and all that kind of bad stuff that Twitter's kind of makes it hard to be on that app at times. And a lot of our Game Over hosts have kind of migrated over to the BlueSky app, and I'm on there. I still call it tweet, like it's kind of going on and stuff, just easier. So yeah, if you're on BlueSky, check us out there. We have the Discord app. And just any support is great. Even if you're just watching the video, thank you. Yeah. So, the Jets are obviously kind of in a bit of a pickle for at least Sunday's game, where I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen with the lineup. Nikolai Ehlers goes down with injury tonight. Scott Arniel says that he is day-to-day of lower body injury. What does that mean? It means that he's probably not playing Sunday. If he's dated, they probably give him Sunday off. Is he back for Tuesday's game against St. Louis? We'll see. I have no idea. I didn't even see the injury until after, so I don't think it didn't look like something that's super long term, but it did seem like something where he might miss some games out of the Jets lineup. So what that means is that either David Gustafsson is going to hop into the lineup on Sunday, and we move a fourth line player up to the second line, or that means the Jets make a call to the Manitoba Moose and call up. Make a call up. I kind of alluded to it on the last show. Mark Scheifele playing with an injury. It's obviously apparent that Gabriel Velarde isn't taking all of Scheifele's faceoffs. Just because he's good at faceoffs. Scheifele has not looked himself these last couple games. He did play. I thought he played okay at times in the second period and third period tonight, but Scheifele's not 100% for sure. That's why part of the reason why line one's been so terrible 5-on-5 these last few games. It might have something to do with the Four Nations Cup. Rosters are going to be announced, I believe, on December 4th. And Scheifele doesn't want to kind of go down with an injury before that happens, because that might mean that he won't get picked for that team. So he's kind of playing through an injury. It must be something where the coaching staff or the medical trainers have told him that if you play, you're not going to injure it more. But I just feel like if the if the Jets' goal is to win a Stanley Cup, you need to make sure that your star players, everyone on your team, is healthy for the playoffs. So the Jets they've banked enough points where they're going to be in the playoffs this year. Pretty much no matter what. So if Scheifele needs to sit out for a while and rest up, and sit out some games, that's totally fine. And we have we have some players waiting kind of in the wings with the Manto Moose that can be called up on a whim. I think the Jets. So they play Sunday afternoon. I think that you're going to see the Jets make a call up for that game. I think that throwing in David Gustafsson and moving up Alex Iafallo to the second line is not going to be enough to get it done against a very good Dallas Stars team who's kind of giving the licks to Colorado tonight. I think we have Brad Lambert, a top six player, kind of waiting in the wings, and we have Nikita Chibrikov, a middle six player waiting in the wings. So I think it's not out of the question to say that Brad Lambert could be called up tomorrow. I also think it's out of the question to say that Nikita Chibrikov could be called up tomorrow. I wonder which way they go. If they call up like a Toninato and Axel Jonsson-Fjallby, I might break this laptop. So I don't think they do that. I think that I think Brad Lambert has been very good with going down to the minors and stuff. And he was probably told if a top six injury happens, you're going to be the guy called up. And Chibrikov too was probably told something similar, probably next in line after Brad. So I'm very curious to see what happens tomorrow if the call up happens, because it's a 3:30 game in Dallas. So the Moose were in Calgary, I believe, tonight, or it was the game here. The Moose got whacked 7-1 tonight or 6-1 by the Calgary Wranglers. I don't even know what their AHL team's called. So it was. I know that the Moose scored the very last goal of the game. They were down 6-0. They scored in the last little bit. It was a Nikita Chibrikov goal from Brad Lambert and Elias Salamonson. Our three, stud prospects got in on the action, and those are the three players that are evidently leading the team in scoring. Not surprisingly. So. I'm very curious what's going to happen if Ehlers is down, because I'm sure that Lambert was told if an injury in the top six happens, you're going to be the guy. And will it be the case like Kyle Connor, where Kyle Connor was sent down that second year, and then he was back up. There was an injury in the top six after a couple games, and he never he took that. He started playing well with the Jets right away and never took off. He was never called sent down again to the Moose. Will that happen with Brad Lambert? I don't know. But I think that he's kind of ready for that opportunity. Whether that's on the a second line with Nemesnikov and Perfetti. He adds some more offense. I haven't loved, even though Cole Perfetti had 2 goals tonight, I really haven't loved his game. You definitely cannot put Cole Perfetti at center. Nemesnikov can kind of play. He's a utility player that can play anywhere. I think you can plug in Lambert there. I also think you can plug in Chibrikov there. I think Chibrikov can kind of come in on the wing and play a good game. I think that it's Lambert's time first. If Scheifele's down with injury at some point, I think that you might see the double call up probably after the Four Nations Cup roster reveal. That's just a prediction. Thank you, Brendan Labarre, for tuning into the show, my Game Over Winnipeg host. It's good to have somebody in the chat, because I just love talking to myself. He says, "Big Bad Brad." The thing about Chibrikov is I feel he has the body, habits, and skills to play on any forward line. Yes, I could not agree more. I think obviously if Lambert's going to be called up, it's obviously in a top 6 role he's going to play, and if Chibrikov, he can really play on any line. Probably 2, 3, and 4. I don't know if Chibrikov is a top line player, but he's a great utility. He's like a Nemesnikov. He's a Swiss Army knife. You can kind of plug Chibi anywhere, I feel. So again, very curious. Double call up. Yeah, like I want to see these young guys. I want to see these young guys in the lineup, especially if we have an injury. Like, I don't want to see Axel Janssen Fialbi. I don't want to see fucking Tony Nato dropped an F-bomb. I'm sure that's fine because no one's listening. So yeah, Brendan, you ready for the next 2 games? I believe you're doing Dallas on Sunday, and then Tuesday I'll be at the Blues game with Braden. So I think you're doing those 2. That should be fun. Let's hit another ad read. Then I'll tell my Anze Kopitar story that got cut off last show. Having troubles with this system that I'm using for the show. So, Game On Winnipeg, which I hate talking about because we don't even have Game On Winnipeg. But Game Over, what you're watching now, has you covered after the game. But in order to get ready to watch the Jets, you've got to get your game on too. So Game On Winnipeg is a short-form daily news podcast covering everything you need to know about the Winnipeg Jets. Debuting soon, get all of your Winnipeg Jets news in under 10 minutes, Monday through Friday, on the Game Over Winnipeg YouTube channel, and in podcast form, which you can find at thegameovernetwork.com/pages/Winnipeg. All right, I gotta get the prop. By the way, go Jets. So last show during the Brendan says Harrison Lee is bringing Game On Winnipeg soon. Yeah, I talked to Harrison a couple days ago. I was giving him props for his new some new watch and jerseys that he got in the mail. He posted on Twitter. He still doesn't know when he's going to start the Game On Winnipeg show. I always say hopefully soon. I always say in this video here during the ad read, but he doesn't really have a clue when he's going to be able to start that up. So check out the other Game On shows. I think we have them in every other market except for Canada's Best Team. Surprisingly enough, this is the one market where we don't really have the viewership as all the other shows, even though, as I just said, we're Canada's best team. We're the best team in the NHL for like the smallest market in the league. Pretty cool. Anyways, my Anze Kopitar story. So, obviously, I've been writing about hockey for a long time. My first big break, I would say, was around 2012, 2013 was my first couple years out of high school. I got a gig writing for the IIHF.com. That's the International Ice Hockey Federation, and it was where I could interview international players, players who played for lower countries, and then through that I got to cover. Write stories about events like the Olympics, the World Championships, and the World Juniors for the website, and do kind of biographies, profiles on some of the players. So through that, I interviewed a goaltender from Slovenia, Luka Grachnar, who played for Red Bull Salzburg in the Austrian League. He played for Slovenia, in the Olympics and World Championships. He's my age. He's about 30 now. He had a decent career over in Europe. So I interviewed him, and we kind of got along good. So we talked quite a bit over the years on Facebook Messenger. Maybe fast forward another year from there, I was working on a book, on my first book, Hockey Hotbeds, which was kind of a collection of stories about hockey towns around the world. And for that, I wanted to profile, Jeseni, Slovenia, because it's quite a hockey town in Slovenia. That's where Kopitar comes from, Anze Kopitar, and that's where a lot of the Slovenian national team players come from. This is kind of one small mining steel town in rural Slovenia. And also, Anze Kopitar was my favorite player in the league. This was right around the time. This was before they won the cups. But I was a huge fan of Kopitar when he first came in the league. I remember watching the 2005 draft, and the Kings were one of my favorite teams. So I was hoping that he would fall to them, and I couldn't believe when all these teams were passing him up, because he was the next best player in the draft after Crosby. I felt like, and as it turned out, Crosby and Kopitar had the two best careers out of that draft. although Crosby was taking 1, Kopitar 11. And Anze Kopitar is going to go down as one of the best players of this generation, a first ballot Hall of Famer. And yeah, so I was talking to Luca. This was right after the Kings won the Cup in 2012, their first Stanley Cup. Me and Luca talked quite a bit, just about hockey. I would kind of fill him in what's going on in North America and whatnot. And I asked him, because he's friends with Anze Kopitar, they're both from, that town in Slovenia that I was writing about. So I said, is there any way you can kind of hook me up and, let me kind of get an interview in with Anze? I'd love to talk to him for the book. And obviously I just want to talk to him because I'm a big fan. I wasn't going to say that, but... So yeah, Luca set up an interview with Anze Kopitar. So, Anze gave it the okay, gave me his number. We had about a 15 minute phone conversation. This was the summer they won the Cup. So, it was really cool to talk to Kopi for a little bit, and it made for a great chapter in the book. So then fast forward maybe to the next hockey season, kind of in the winter, I would say. In talking to Luca, the goaltender, we would talk here and there throughout the year, and he had mentioned how, when Anze Kopitar won the Cup, after he brought the Cup, back to Slovenia for his day with the Cup, he had had some, once like the ring design, how the players get a Stanley Cup ring, every year, he got his cup ring the next season, and then after he got his cup ring, he went and he made like some replicas of that ring to give to like friends and stuff. So Luca got one. I think he made probably like 100 or so, 100 or 150 of these rings, and would give them to people and stuff. And they obviously, they weren't. It's not the real ring with the diamonds and whatnot, but it was an exact replica of it. The weight wise and like the look of it. And for whatever reason, Luca had an extra one. And he asked me if I wanted it, and yeah, I was like 20-year-old Ty was gonna say, yeah, send it over. So I know I sent some money over to Luca just to cover the shipping. So I was so like gracious. And then a couple weeks later, it came in the mail. Boom. It's not something you get in a case of beer, I'll tell you that. This is a heavy. It's heavy. It's bulky. Obviously, it's not real diamonds, but it's an exact replica of the ring that Kopitar and the Kings, got in 2012 when they won the Cup. So, see Kopitar's names on the side. LA Kings. They went 16-4 in the playoffs. I don't know if you can see that. 2012. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Obviously, not holds no real big value except for the sentimental. It's just a cool kind of thing that I know that Kopitar had these made for his buddies and family and stuff, and I got my hands on one. Kopitar is my favorite player growing up, so just something cool. I've kind of carried it with me through the last 15 years. It's always kind of somewhere where I can see it most days and just kind of reminisce on those couple cup runs that Anze had in LA. So there you have it. Let's go to overtime. Let's do another ad read. Talk about the merch, which I don't have my hands on yet. So what better way to support something you love than by rocking it as clothing? Game Over's apparel line has dropped with 3 unique designs. Whether you feel the nostalgic pull of our retro skater design, whether you want to make a statement with our established design, which is on sale, want to wear your love for goalies proudly with our Live and Die by the Goalie design, or you just need another coffee to get you through the winter, we have you covered. So, designed by Brady Chalice from Game Over Winnipeg. Use the QR code that's on the stream now, and take a look through our apparel store and help us rebuild local sports media in Canada while repping your community. Boom! Check it out. We got hoodies, mugs, t-shirts, hats, all that jazz. Reasonably priced, low shipping costs. please check it out. I gotta get paid at some point. Just help us out every little bit helps. It's just an alternate kind of way to kind of rep the Jets, rep Game Over. I love the designs. Yeah, please check it out. Get that off the screen. Yeah, seeing as there's no questions or anybody in the chat, Brendan, thanks for kind of typing some stuff. It makes me feel that I'm not totally alone, but nobody else is here. We'll kind of wrap things up now. We will be back on Sunday afternoon, following a 3:30 matinee with the Dallas Stars to close out this longest road trip of the season. Where the Jets will hopefully get back in the win column. We kicked Dallas's butt pretty good, back home a month ago. So hopefully we can do it again, and hopefully we'll see a Brad Lambert or Chibrikov in the lineup if Nikolai Ehlers indeed won't be playing on Sunday. So I'm sure you guys are all sick of me, but Brendan Labarre will be on the show doing Game Over Winnipeg for Sunday's game, and he'll also be doing Tuesday night's game against the Blues. So join Brendan here on the Game Over Winnipeg YouTube channel, right after the game on Sunday. We hope to see you here. Take care, everybody, and have a great night. Peace.